So we'll see the next concept, mixtures, questions related to mixtures. So when two liquids are mixed, say for example milk and water, water and acid, and two paints say of red color and yellow color, so if they are mixed, we get mixtures, and we'll see how to work out this type of question. So we can work out these mixtures using the alligation process, so which we have already seen in the lesson of averages. So how to work out this mixtures question using the smiley concept? So we'll see an example. A container has mixture of milk and water in the ratio 3:2. If 5 liters of milk and 2 liters of water are added, the ratio of milk and water becomes 5:3. What is the quantity of milk contained in the final mixture? So we'll see how to work out this question using the same smiley pattern. So in this initial ratio of milk and water is 3:2, and after adding 5 liters of milk and 2 liters of water, ratio becomes 5:3. So in this ages question, if they give the past ratio or future ratio from the present, the number of years which you subtract or number of years which you add will be same. So in this question, so different addition to different values of milk and water is added. So we'll see how to work out this type of questions. So the ratio of milk and water, so initially it is 3:2, and final ratio of milk and water is 5:3, and it is given that 5 liters of milk is added. So whatever is added, when milk is added, write on the milk side. So 5 liters milk is added, so write 5 on this milk part, and 2 liters of water is added, so write this 2 on this water part. And to find this value of one part, so you can use the same smiley concept for finding value of one part. So the denominator will be, so as the same as we did for the ages question, so the product difference of the given ratios. So product of 5 and 2 is 10, and 3 and 3 it is 9, so difference is 1. So denominator will be 10 minus 9, 1. So for the ages question, so when you decrease the years for past and if you add for future, the values will be same. So we subtracted and multiplied. So in this question, you just multiply and subtract. So only this is the difference if the values are different for both the parts. So multiply 5 and 3, it is 15, and multiply 5 and 2, it is 10. So the difference will give you the numerator. So value of one part is 5. And after finding this value of one part, so you can give the answer whichever is asked. So here we are asked to find quantity of milk contained in the final mixture. Suppose if they ask what was the initial quantity of milk or water, or final quantity of milk or water, or final total mixture, so we'll see how to work out. So initial and final. So milk and water and quantity. So if initial quantity of milk is asked, so value of one part we have got as 5. So be careful that the value of one part 5 has to be always multiplied with the first row only. So don't multiply this with the second row. If they ask for final values also, don't multiply this value of one part with the final ratio, because so only with the first row, that is the ratio 3:2, we give the variable x. We add the variable x, where x is value of one part. So after getting this value of one part, this has to be multiplied only with the first row, because so with this first row ratios 3x and 2x, we add this x. So value of one part multiplied with 3, you get the initial values of milk and water. And now to find the values for initial milk and final quantities of milk. So with this value of n part multiplying with the first row, so 5 into 3. So initially there was 15 liters of milk, and now for water it is 2 parts, 2 into 5, 10 liters of water was there in the mixture. So if they ask the initial quantity, so you can add the amount of milk and water, but instead of finding milk and water, so value of one part is 5. Initially we had 5 parts, so 5 into 5, so 25 liters. So initial quantity of the mixture, so we get as 25 liters. So to find the initial values, so we have multiplied the value of one part with the first row only. So if they are the final values, so don't multiply this with the second row. So only with the first row we have to multiply. So if final values is asked, so initially 15 liters of milk was there in the mixture, and you are adding 5 liters of milk. So add 5 with this initial quantity. So you get final quantity of milk in the mixture as 20 liters. And if final quantity of water is asked, so initially 5 into 2, 10 liters of water was there, and 2 liters is added. So 10 plus 2, 12. So final quantity of milk 20 liters, final quantity of water 12 liters. So when you check here, 20 and 12, and when you simplify, you get the same ratio, 5:3. And now whatever is asked, whether it is initial quantity of milk, final quantity of milk, or initial quantity of water, final quantity of water, so whatever is asked, you can give the answer by finding this value of one part, and be careful that this has to be multiplied only with the first row, not with the second row. So if you multiply with the second row, you will get a wrong answer. Suppose if final quantity is asked, add this. So now we have found the value of one part using this smiley concept, though the values are same. So for ages question, both the values will be same. We use the smiley concept. When the values are different also, you can work out. So by multiplying and subtracting, this value of one part is got. So to find the values, find the value of, multiply the value of one part with the first row, and if final values is asked, don't multiply with the second row, you will get the wrong answer. So it is 5 into 3, 50. If final is asked, add this 5 liters. So the question is quantity of milk contained in the final mixture. So initially there was 15 liters. So adding 5, 20 liters of mixture is there finally. So we'll see another example. So the question is, a container has milk and water in the ratio of 5:3. If 3 liters of water is added, the ratio becomes 3:2. Find the total quantity of milk now in the container. So in this question, the initial ratios of milk and water is given as 5:3, and water alone is added. So earlier we saw if both the values are added. So in this question, only water is added, milk is not added. So when water 3 liters is added, the ratio becomes 3:2. So how to work out this type of questions? So we'll see the working. So initial ratio of milk and water is given as 5:3. And to find the final quantity, only 3 liters of water is added. So as water is added, you write on the water part. After adding 3 liters, the ratio becomes 3:2. And now how to use the smiley concept for this type of working? Here milk is not added, only water is added. So when water is added, 3 liters, you write on water side. Milk is not added, so we'll write 0 on the milk side. And to find value of one part, so now as we have values on both sides, you can use the smiley concept and find value of one part. And the denominator part will be the product difference of the ratios. So 5 into 2, 10, 3 into 3 it is 9. So difference of these products 10 minus 9, 1. And for the numerator, so multiplying this 3 into 3 you get 9. And as milk is not added we have written 0. So 2 into 0 it is 0. So value of one part becomes 9 by 1 which is equal to 9. So after finding this value of one part, so multiplying with the first row you get details of initial values, and if we are asked to find final values, add 3, or if milk is asked it will be the same. And now the question is find total quantity of milk now in the container. So value of one part is 9, so multiplying 9 with 5 it is 45. So we have 45 liters of milk in the, we had 45 liters of milk in the container and 0 liters, so milk is not added. So if final quantity of milk is asked, so it is the same 45. If suppose water is asked, so if initial quantity of water, if it was asked, so value of one part is 9, 9 into 3, 27. And 3 liters of water is added. If final quantity of water is asked, add 3 with 27. So you get 30. And now final quantity of milk 45 and final quantity of water 30. So simplifying we get the same ratio. So here the question is final quantity of milk which remains unchanged initially and finally. So answer is 45 liters. So here for this concept also where only one part is added, so we have used the smiley concept and found this value of one part, and to find the initial values multiplying this with 5 and 3 we get the initial value. The final quantity of milk is asked, it is 0 liters added, so where it is the same, and if final quantity of water is asked it will be plus 3, 30 liters. So friends, whenever you see two ratios in the question, when for ages question both values will be same, or for this milk and water questions if it is not same you have different values, or if only one part is added or subtracted, for all you can use the same working. So if milk is added you write milk on the other side and water you take as 0 and proceed. So we'll see some more examples. So we'll see another example. The question is, in 70 liters of mixture of milk and water, water content is 10%. How many liters of water should be added so that the ratio of milk and water becomes 9:2? So earlier we saw if milk or water is added, ratio changes and capacity or quantity, initial quantity or final quantity was asked. So here the initial quantity is given and how many liters should be added is asked to get the another ratio which is given. So in 70 liters water content is 10%. So we can find how much water is there in 70 liters and how much milk is there in 70 liters, and we can get the ratio and proceed. So we'll see the working. So in this question the quantity of mixture is 70 liters. So total is 17. So water is 10%. So when water is 10%, so what will be the percentage of milk? So remaining will be percentage of milk. So if water is 10%, subtract it from 100, so milk will be 90%. So we can get ratio of milk and water. So initial quantity of milk and water. The ratio of milk and water, so initial ratio will be, so water 10%, milk 90%. So simplifying, we get the ratio 9:1. And now how many liters of water should be added? As water is asked, the quantity, so write this x on water side. So after adding x liters of water to this 70 liters, the ratio becomes 9:2. The final ratio is 9:2. So you have to remember that this 9:2 is not in the 70 liters. So when you add x liters, the quantity will become 70 plus x liters. So in that, ratio is 9:2. And the ratio we have 9:1 and total quantity is there. So with this you can find value of one part. So total 70 liters. So initially there are 9:1, 10 parts. So dividing by 10, so we get value of one part. So for this question, so no need to solve using heavy calculations. So when you check this ratio, so you get this type of question. When water is added, the other part, that is the milk, remains the same. So whenever you have same value after adding water also, so no need to do any working. So here value of milk 9 parts is retained here also, but water is increased by how many parts? So earlier 1 part, now you have 2 parts, and when you are adding x liters it becomes 2. So it is increased only by 1 part. So answer will be this 1 part itself. So when you add 7 liters of water with this quantity 70 liters, quantity will become 77 and the ratio will get 9:2. So the answer is 7 liters of water should be added. So we'll verify the calculations we have got here. So water 10% in 70 liters, you have 7 liters of water, 10% of 70 is 7 liters of water. So subtracting 7 from 70, milk we get as 63 liters. So this when simplified, you get 9:1 ratio. And how many liters of water should be added to make the ratio 9:2? So as this is increased by 1 part, the value of 1 part will be the answer here. So initially 7 liters, adding 7 liters of milk, the water content becomes 14 liters and milk remains the same, 63 liters. So when simplifying this, you get the ratio 9:2. So friends, when working out, just give a glance at this ratio. Here, when adding water, the parts of milk remains the same. So no need to do all this working. So guess the value of 1 part. So water is increased by 1 part only. So answer will be 7 liters. So if for example, if the ratio is 9:3, so you are adding water and milk remains same and water is increased by 2 parts now. So we have got 1 part as 7. So when it is increased by 2 parts, value of water added will be 2 parts, that is 7 into 2, 14. So initially 7 liters, when you add 2 parts, that is 14 plus 7, you will get 63 liters of milk, which will be the same. As we are adding water, it becomes 21 liters. And the ratio is 9:3. So after simplifying, get 3:1. So we'll see the next question.